Hi everyone, my name's Danielle and welcome back to Board Game Bakes. For everyone who's watched me before, I know it's been a while, but I had a very busy summer and I'm just kind of figuring out what direction I want my channel to take. So it's nice to be back and finally be baking. It's been a while since I even made royal icing at all. We're going to dive back in with Alhambra. This is the big box, so it has 5 different expansions in it. So every time you play, it could be a new game or you could just keep playing the core game again and again, which is still really fun. So I went back to basics and I recreated the tiles as cookies. I went and used a baklava recipe, which is the same one I've used for 7 Wonders, but I love it and it's delicious. Let's get started. It's great to be back and decorating some cookies. First, we need our dough. Put a half cup granulated sugar, a 1/4 cup brown sugar, 2 sticks softened unsalted butter in a mixing bowl and mix on medium-low speed until whipped and airy, about 2 minutes. Meanwhile, add a 1/4 teaspoon salt, 3/4 teaspoon baking powder, 1½ teaspoon cinnamon to 3 cups of all-purpose flour and give it a good mix. Once your butter mixture is creamy, add in 1 egg and 1 teaspoon of milk and mix until it's smooth. Make sure you scrape down the sides because I probably should have scraped it down a little bit more to have it be a little less chunky. Once it's incorporated, add in a 1/4 cup of honey. This will definitely help with the baklava taste. Now add your flour mixture slowly to avoid getting flour everywhere. We all know we've done that before. The final step is adding the ground walnuts. If you want to, you could toast them before or even after grinding them to give them an even better taste and smell. Keep your mixer going on low until you have a stiff dough. Dump it onto the counter and divide into 2 sections. Squish the dough to form a disc and wrap each disc in plastic wrap. Take it to the fridge and let it set for at least an hour before continuing. Once your dough has gotten firm, put a little powdered sugar on your surface and rolling pin. The goal is for your dough to be about 1/4 inch thick. I have a rolling pin with rings on the side and this makes it so much easier, but otherwise you could just eye it and use a roller if you want to. Take a square cookie cutter and cut out as many squares as you can. This is about a 2-inch cookie cutter. Place your squares on a baking tray that's been lined with parchment paper. The paper helps get an even color. Bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 7 minutes depending on what size your squares are. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. While you're here, give the video a like and in the comments let me know what games you want me to do on the channel. Thanks! It's weird, for a while I was constantly doing cookies and now I actually can't remember the last time I decorated royal icing. I even tried a new icing technique to see if I could get less air bubbles. To begin though, we're going to get some thick black royal icing, use it to outline the whole square, and then the section with the tile label and the cost of it, and then any distinct shapes in the middle of the cookie. You don't have to outline the whole shape of the center of the thing, mainly areas that are definitely a different color than the background, like the roofs on the red pieces. It's fun seeing how basic the cookies start and how little by little they resemble the tiles. Once you're happy with all your outlining and the icing has time to set, get out a light tan/yellow thin royal icing. We're looking for a flooding consistency. Use it to fill in the areas that won't have any distinct color. For the gardens, this was basically the whole tile. Now go through the different types of tiles and use thin royal icing to fill in your labels and buildings. For example, blue needs the label and the roof. For some of them, I chose to fill it in with white royal icing and then plan to paint or color it later, instead of wasting an entire bag for one little tiny drop of icing. Just seems more practical to me. Have you ever played Alhambra? Our local game store had a sale, so my husband and I bought this big box years ago. It's fun playing all the different expansions and getting a different goal each time. Now that all your cookies are filled in, you need to give them time to set. This could be 2 hours, or I usually continue on the next day. Have you discovered edible markers yet? If not, what are you waiting for? They're probably my favorite baking tool ever, or at least decorating tool. They'll help our mediocre cookies look so much better. For each cookie, you can use a black edible marker to write the name of the tile and the cost of getting it. Then use your creativity and the other colors to try and match the images on the board game tiles. It's not likely that you could get all the actual details since you're writing on a cookie, and sometimes if you put too much pressure on it, you could crack the royal icing, so it's a very delicate balance. However, adding the pillars to your roofs and the shade areas in the cookies makes a big difference. You can use 2 different techniques for the trees. Either use a paintbrush with some green royal icing on it to dab some trees on, or just use a green edible marker. The pack I use has 2 different shades of green. The final tile is the fountain tile, where everyone needs to start their Alhambra. It was completely filled in with royal icing and came out just fine drawing the fountain and the garden spots with edible markers. Anybody else ready for a game of Alhambra? Thank you for watching another episode of Board Game Bakes and for coming back after that big pause. I hope that I'll have more videos, probably not every week, but hopefully I'll at least have one every month as I try and figure out what I want to do. I still have some games from my original board game collection that kept on getting pushed back that I feel like they deserve some time in the sun, like Alhambra, which is a wonderful game and it's received a lot of love in my house. What are some of your games that have received the most love? What's your favorite game that you always go back to? Let me know down below. Keep playing games and keep them sweet. Bye!